everyone, this is American Wire. So this trans person shows up at Matt Walsh's event, and Matt Walsh is like shocked, blown away at what he said. Go check it out.
So I'd like to say that I'm actually a part of that organization that was going to come and try and derail you tonight. I didn't hear a single thing, though, that constituted an attack on queer or trans lives or an attack on me personally. So I don't know what they were on about there. Moreover, everything that you have said on gender identity, gender expression, John Money, pronoun usage, what else? The sex gender distinction, you are 100% correct.
Wow.
You are 100% correct. I don't know if you've ever heard that from a trans person before. I identify as a trans woman. You are 100% correct on that. And it is an absolute travesty that the trans community bases everything on such vacuous concepts. My thing is, though, is I don't agree with your conclusion. I don't agree with it. But more so, the reason why I don't is less a matter of argumentation and more so a matter of method. You've stated time and time again that your approach to this is to try and keep things simple and uncomplicated, as in you don't try and engage with the nuance of the position of trans people. But that's exactly how my org treats you. They don't think that your arguments are worth looking at because they cast you as a transphobe. I did otherwise, and I looked, I'm like, yeah, no, this guy's absolutely correct on all these things.
So which conclusion are you? You said you disagree with my conclusions.
Well, it's the conclusion that of the model that you're postulating of gender, of that it's just this, you have man, woman, they're biologically contingent. My sort of question is, do you think that defaulting to simplicity, if this is the most dire issue of the age, which is something else that I agree with you on, do you really think that a method of simply recoursing to the most simplistic matter of approach is what we should be doing here?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
You don't
because,
think...
I mean, I appreciate, I appreciate everything that you said, and I appreciate your attitude. I very rarely encounter your attitude from that side of the ideological aisle. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I do think that making it simple is the right approach because, to my view, it is a very simple question. Now, if you want to get into the personal experiences of each individual and someone who's experiencing gender dysphoria, and what do we do to treat that problem? Sure, there's all kinds of personal, subjective nuances and things like that. And, if my child came to me and said that they were confused about their identity, I wouldn't just say, get out of my face. I would want to sit down and talk to them. And that's when you get into, that becomes a sort of an interpersonal exchange. And so you get into some of those personal nuances and everything, and that's fine. But the underlying fact, the underlying reality is simple, that there are only males and females in the human race. There are no other categories. There is no third sex. It doesn't exist. Even though we hear about intersex people, an actual intersex person would be someone who has the reproductive capacities of both men and women, males and females. Such a person has never existed, ever. So what I see here is a binary system, and in that way, it's very simple, and I think that has to be our message.
What are the other categories, if not male or female, was a huge question for Matt to ask, because that is where transgender people, or people who just believe in that whole philosophy, that is where you will get them silent because they don't know the answer, and there's no answer because there's only male or female. Or you'll get them to start having personal attacks on you verbally or whatever. That's where they get frustrated and they go off. This guy was so authentic in his response of saying nothing, because that is truly the answer. There's male and there's female. Male and female, that's it. What I don't understand is this. Transgender people exist in this world. Absolutely. I am not saying no to that, and I'm not transphobic or anything like that. I feel everyone has a place in this world. But I feel that they have a place in this world where they don't take up the rights and the space of somebody else to have that place in this world. So if transgenders want to exist, they should have their own category. Men, women, transgender. If transgender came out over the past years and it came out where they wanted to fight for their own category to exist, to have right and all that stuff, not trying to take away women's rights, you would have so many more support for this, for them than ever before. But they want you to believe that transgender is another thing you're born with. But in the science world, a woman has a different DNA than a man, and vice versa. Point blank, that's the answer. And that's why this gentleman was paused, because he didn't have an answer.